So this is about motions for summary judgment. Motions for summary judgment are sometimes called, by me, the mother of all motions, in that they are kind of the biggest deal in terms of the future of the case. There are only really two types of what people call dispositive motions. That means cases that dispositive has dispose in it. There are only two types of motions that can decide a case. One is a demurrer, or a motion to dismiss. And if you remember, that's where you say, look at the complaint, accept everything that the plaintiff says is true, and they still can't win. There's not a legal theory that will survive. Now, early in a case like that, you really don't have all the information that you're going to have about the case. So oftentimes you may not be able to put all the, quote, ammunition that you want together to mount a challenge. But that's one type of dispositive motion, demurrers or motions to dismiss. The other type are motions for summary judgment. And motions for summary judgment are very compelling because in that case, in motions for summary judgment, they're always further down the line in the case. That is, the case has been further developed by discovery and will often include some of the discovery that has been provided back to you, and you'll use it against the other side. So I thought what I would do is just quickly go over the motion by Lisa Marie Rosado in the Castro case and her motion for summary judgment. If you look at the introduction to it, again, we've got a caption. We've got the introduction by and through her undersigned counsel. She presents the instant motion for summary judgment and in support avers or states, whatever. And then she gives you the undisputed facts. And before we go too far, let me tell you how summary judgment is decided. Think of any case and think of the disputes as being both factual and legal. So let's take a case involving the fight at the nightclub. The factual issues are who punched who threw the first punch, who was just defending themselves. And then the legal side of it would be the judicial determination of what is an assault, what is the right of self-defense, how long does the right of self-defense last, can you be an aggressor and use self-defense. These are all legal issues which the judge will explain to the jury. So in a trial, basically we have the jury that's going to listen to the case and decide all the facts. You have the judge that's going to instruct the jury on what the law is, but the jury is the one that is to apply what they believe in terms of who's telling the truth and who's not, what the real story is. So the essence of a motion for summary judgment is for one side to say, look, at the end of the day, there are no real material, serious, factual disputes in this case. And if that's the case, we don't need a jury to decide the case because all the facts are established. All we need is the judge to decide the law in the case. And it's summary because what you're doing is avoiding a full trial, and you're having a much quicker resolution by a judge looking over affidavits, looking over exhibits that have been provided, and deciding the case as opposed to it going to trial. The essence of a motion for summary judgment is telling the court, look, we don't have any reason to have a trial because we don't need a jury in this case. Our facts are not disputed. So they start with their undisputed facts in paragraphs 1 through 4, and, 1 through, it goes quite a bit past 4, but let me tell you what I wanted to bring your attention to, if I may. I'm skimming slowly the moving party, the defendant, has attached in Exhibit A a copy of the third amended complaint. As you recall, Mr. Castro's complaints were challenged and were continually amended. So that's what Exhibit A is. That is the third amended complaint. That's the final complaint that has passed muster and still exists. And then what we have is a copy in Exhibit B of the defendant's answer and new matter. If you recall, an answer replies to the factual aspects. the new matter raises essentially what are affirmative defenses, defenses that if they're satisfactory will defeat the claim. Then the part that I most want you to see in paragraph 8 refers to Exhibit C. And Exhibit C is a set of interrogatories that the defendant sent to the plaintiff. The plaintiff has now answered them, and in their motion for summary judgment, they have attached to their motion. So what they're saying is the defendant has said stuff in response to our interrogatories that helps our motion for summary judgment. The next thing I really want you to pay attention to is paragraph 9, which says, November 10th, 2017, we took the deposition of the plaintiff. We are attaching in Exhibit D sections of the appropriate parts of the plaintiff's deposition. So this is using discovery to help you win a motion for summary judgment. You're taking the answers that are provided to interrogatories, and you're taking the deposition that a party gave, and you're attaching them for the court to see. So it gives you a whole lot more ammunition to point out in terms of the motion itself. I'm not going to scroll through all of the paragraphs, but I'm going to ask you to skim it if you would, and see if you come up with any questions. Basically, it's essentially a legal memorandum further on in the pleadings here, which address why they think they should be given a judgment. So you know, with all motions, this motion, like all others, also included a proposed order, and that's what I'm showing you right now. If you'll notice, it's again an order. It's titled order right in the front, and basically it's submitted this way, and the hope these folks have, that is the defendant has, is that the judge will sign this, and they'll say on this 20th day of August, upon consideration of the motion for summary judgment, it is dismissed with prejudice, so ordered and signed by the judge. So that's your proposed order, everyone, and that's got to be submitted. Also attached to this at the end of it, and I won't scroll through it, you'll notice there's a certificate of service, which means that the party that's moving has certified that they have served this properly. They've filed it within the electronic filing system. So that's a couple pieces of information. I'm not going to say any more about motions for summary judgment right now, but when you take a quick look at this, you realize it's quite a big production, but it's tremendous time and money saver if it can defeat the need for a trial. Clients are always dying to save money, and that would be the way it would play out in a motion like